when you were here and we walked into the Gucci store. Do you remember how I was hiding my hands behind my back when I was looking at the watches? And I instantly knew that, like, okay, I was doing that subconsciously because I felt like I wasn't supposed to be there, or like I didn't feel like at ease looking at like a watch which was out of my price range. So I would hide my hands, which would make me look really suspicious, right? It's like, it's just like, and so one of the ways we could easily build trust and safety within a person, and whether that's a store clerk or anybody, is just to show your hands more.
Welcome to the Better Man Podcast with Ivan and Sumed. This podcast is all about how to be an optimal, conscious male in today's society. Join Ivan and Sumed as they go deep into the rabbit hole of personal growth, mindset, social dynamics, and spirituality. Are you ready to be a better man?
Hey there, guys. We missed you like a motherfucker. What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the Better Man Podcast.
With Ivan and Sumed.
That's right. We got to have the trademark in there.
So this is a very important episode because we're going to be talking about the very first step. You know, everybody knows that first impressions are huge, right?
Yeah. Humongous, yeah.
It's like the first 60 seconds makes the first impression, right? And then that's what somebody's gonna see you as for the next month, right? Until unless you show them differently, even if you show them differently, they're going off based off what they first saw in those first 60 seconds.
Right. Definitely. And that's why in this episode, we're going to talk primarily about building rapport and really instantly building rapport. What we're trying to break down is what are some ways in which we can make that first impression a lasting impression. And so I'm just going to kick it off, bro, with the affirmations. I've come across two that I find is very, very powerful. Yeah, man. What's up?
You've been using these?
Yeah, I've been using them. I've been listening to it as a kind of like I've recorded the affirmations and I listen to them a lot. And I found a few of these very relaxing for me. So the first one is, repeat after me. I am the first domino, and my actions ripple outwards.
I am the first domino, and my actions ripple outwardly.
Mm-hmm. And the second one is, head in the clouds, feet on the ground.
Head on the clouds, feet on the ground.
What'd you think of those, bro?
I don't know. They're not for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if they're working for you, then for sure, totally.
Yeah, I'm trying to kind of like mess around with affirmations. I guess the ones that really stick out to me, and I'm making them kind of, I guess, much more eccentric, or like not eccentric, but more what I would approach the world as. Does that make sense? Like almost like my approach.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I've been.
So like, I mean, maybe break down what you said. I'm the first domino. The thing, the world ripples after my effect, something like that.
Right. So the idea of like the first domino is almost like the concept of the lone wolf, or the mentality of the person who, through their isolation, they breed their artistry, and by them they cause a ripple effect out into the world. So the first domino knocks over all the other dominoes, that makes some chain reaction happen. So the first initial domino is like the pioneer, right? It's the piece that needs to be toppled over. But yeah, I guess, do you get what I'm saying?
So for you perhaps you're saying that you need a push. Maybe is that what you're saying?
Yes,
you're looking
yes.
for a push in life.
I'm looking to get pushed so that I can ripple that outwardly. Yeah.
Is that like, it sort of seems like an external push?
Yeah.
Because it's a domino. You know what I mean? It's a domino.
Right.
Like, you have to push it in the outside world.
Right. And that's kind of, I guess, the universe or God or something higher, a higher power. Yeah.
So you're asking the universe to give you a push.
Yeah.
I don't know, mate. You might want to specify what kind of push you want, bro. Because you're gonna get, you're gonna get a fucking push, bro.
Yeah.
And it might not be the push that you want, man. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
I mean,
bro,
this
you're
isn't
gonna get what you want.
This isn't one of the affirmations just stands by itself. I guess I have to add more clarity to it. Is what you mean? Like, add more specificity to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what That's what I would say.
Awesome. All right. So, in terms of you making or building rapport with someone instantly, what are a few of the indicators that you look for?
Indicators that I look for building rapport.
Yeah, man.
Well, not everyone's gonna want to build rapport with you.
Yeah.
I think that's the first step of building rapport, is that not everyone's out there looking for a conversation. Not everyone's out there looking for a business deal. Not everyone's out there looking to get hit on. Not everyone's out there looking, to look at your fucking movie script. You know what I mean? Not everyone's out there looking to buy your book, right? Even if like you work at a car dealership and you sell cars and somebody comes in there and they're looking at cars, they don't necessarily want to buy a car, right?
Yeah.
They just want to look at the car. No, they don't necessarily want to buy the car.
That's the concept of like window shoppers who like just go around just to look at stuff. Yeah. You break it, you buy it.
You break it, you buy it. Yeah. So for me, I feel like when building rapport, it always trying to be seen as safe.
That's super key. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to be seen as safe. Yeah. Yeah, it does have a huge element of safety and trust. And one of the things that I noticed, and this is a very specific example, when you were here and we walked into the Gucci store, do you remember how I was hiding my hands behind my back when I was looking at the watches? And I instantly knew that, like, okay, I was doing that subconsciously because I felt like I wasn't supposed to be there, or like I didn't feel like at ease looking at like a watch which was out of my price range. So I would hide my hands, which would make me look really suspicious, right? It's like, it's just like, and so one of the ways we could easily build trust and safety within a person, and whether that's a store clerk or anybody, is just to show your hands more.
Totally. Somebody might want to counter you and say, but don't you look like more alpha or more dominant and more like the boss when you walk with your hands behind your back? And yeah, you do. That is true. But I think if this person has never seen you before, they don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Right? And you come in with your hands behind their back, it just creates suspicion.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's that first impression, like you were saying in the
You want to
beginning.
tell them we were looking at that charisma course, right? What were they saying about the hands? Can you tell them?
Um, oh yeah. So so what they were saying is generally when people show their wrists or their hands, it's to denote a feeling of trust or safety, and because essentially, like we put our hands up, or like in terms of getting someone to trust us, like if someone puts a gun to us, we immediately put hands up, right? That's kind of like a gesture of I'm okay, like you can trust me. Caught red-handed is another, like analogy for based on that. But basically what it was saying is, even if you're doing videos like this, you want your hands to be seen in the frame so that people can trust your gestures that you're making, that it's not like. So in a lot of video content, I see a lot of influencers just cropping just their eyes, or like they're just primarily not showing a lot of their body or their hand gestures. And yeah, what that course really reminded me is like, yeah, show more of your hands, but don't show it too much, because that's like supplicating behavior, right? So there has to be a fine line and a refinement.
Yeah, totally. I totally get what you're saying. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
So what I would say is, like, at first, before I even approach somebody with like getting close to them or talking to them, my first move would just be like to give them a hello, like a hello gesture with my hands, right? Hands are safe. I'm not holding any knives in my hands. That's what you're subconsciously saying to their system, to their fucking
No knives.
to their
It's
to
like,
their lower levels of spiral dynamics. Their lower levels of spiral dynamics are in danger.
right, totally. Yeah. For people tuning in who have no idea what that is, it's a concept by Ken Wilber, who created these different levels of what are they exactly? Spiral dynamics? Are they levels of thinking?
Yeah, it's just sort of like he sort of created it for leadership. He wanted to know
Okay.
about like how do different leaders think, and he
Yeah.
realized that like people can be categorized in 8 different categories, and it all has to do. This is more so like levels to society. Let's say, let's
Right.
put it that
Levels
way.
to society. Yes. Yeah.
So
Societal
so
way
at
of thinking.
first,
Yeah. I get what you're
so
saying.
the first it's like the fuck, what is it? Level white? It's not level white.
Beige or something.
Beige,
Be-
beige, and that's
Yeah.
the level of like
Yeah.
babies, like someone who needs somebody else to take care of them, right?
They're fully,
And
yeah, dependent. Yeah.
the world is either good or bad, right? And then you go in the low, like little bit higher level of consciousness, and it's like tribe. It's a tribe mentality. It's like everything is for the tribe. You're not your own thing. You are the tribe. You're not separate. You are the tribe. And then a little bit higher is like the fucking the fucking red. It's red, where it's like I'll do whatever the fuck it takes, even kill. I'll even kill somebody.
Red,
Yeah.
yeah. Red is more like going outwards into like you're kind of much more of an attacking frame.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
like
I would
me,
definitely
it's
say.
like me with the team and then me against the world kind of mentality. So it goes from
Yeah.
tribal to very um very leadership type. Well, not leadership, because leaders don't necessarily have to kill, but it's much more survival, right?
Yeah,
Survival?
all of them are for survival. All of them are
Okay.
like each level has its own like survival strategy,
Okay.
right? But in the lower levels, you're more susceptible to get killed through weapons.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I say it's in the lower levels of spiral dynamics, because you might get killed. People are out there looking to kill you, man.
Yeah.
So part of your brain is thinking, because like I've said before, and I said this in my book, You are all of the levels. You are the lower levels and the mid levels and the high levels, right? So many, like, what's the most important thing, like, out of everything? Fuck is this, bitch? Hold on, bro. Hold on. Or these weird ass numbers calling me. Like, over everything, what are the two most important things as humans? Survival and replication.
Yeah.
If you put any of those two in danger, like, that's why I say when I want to be seen by somebody, I want to be seen as safe, right? I don't want to look like I'm trying to put their genes in danger, and I don't want to make it look like I want to put their life in danger either.
Right. And you don't want to be a cock block to put their replication in danger either.
Yeah. A cock block. Yeah. You don't want to be a fucking cock block.
Yeah. Yeah. So something I was thinking about in terms of rapport is mentioning people by name, because people like the sound of their own name. And oftentimes I'll notice when I remember somebody's name, they have a lot more gravitational pull towards me. Like, oh, wait, you actually remembered my name? Like, even if it's like a very complicated one, like a foreign name, or like, I generally like to use mnemonics. So when I'll try to remember Tony, I'll imagine Tony's face on a box of Frosted Flakes and sort of correlate him with Tony the Tiger, even though he's not or has nothing to do with that. It sort of just helps to remember. Yeah.
That's a really good way. Like, if you want to be extremely influential with every single person that you meet, know their name the first time, right? And what you mentioned, like, that's a very good strategy that memory geniuses use to create lasting impressions inside of their own brain.
Yeah, I think I got this one from Jim Quick, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, to make like if you're trying to remember something, make it like so outrageous.
Yeah.
Just so outrageous. Like fucking. Well, let's just say this is the first time I meet you, Sumed, right? And I'll be like, well, I'm trying to learn Sumed's name. How do I remember Sumed's name if I want to influence this person, right? Maybe I'm trying to sell you a house, right? Maybe I'm trying to sell you a fucking house, bro. And like, I'm going to make bang from this. Or maybe I'm trying to do the business. Maybe I'm trying to
real estate.
Like, something's going to happen, right? Like, I'm somebody that wants to do big things in life. So if I'm seeking out other people, I want, like, it's going to be because something big, right? So I want to remember your name. What are you going to, like, I'll look at Sumed and I'll be like, Sum Ed, some head, right? And then I'll just like, let's just say, I'll just picture myself. I know that, look, it's gotta go outrageous. Look, I'm about to go outrageous. Look, I'll picture myself getting some head, like some, like, you know, good.
Some good.
And then I'll picture Sumed, like, walking into the room and be like, he's looking for, like, his, like, Rudraksh seeds. Yeah, bro, what the fuck? Yeah. And then this whole time we're in somebody's head. We're in somebody's head, like, inside their mind.
Damn. That goes.
So that's how you gotta make this shit. You gotta make it outrageous, like, huge.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to remember it, is with an outrageous scenario. Yeah, it's a good point. And also, like, I've noticed another thing is sometimes I go very inwards in social interactions, and I notice that it's because I'm actively trying to absorb the environment and, like, different people or a new situation. And sometimes my silence creates, like, a vacuum. You know what I mean? And I sort of try to express myself, but instead it doesn't come out the way that I want it to, or the way that I'm trying to express it. So one of the things that helps me to build rapport for someone like me who's much more, I guess, introverted, is a way that I perceive people and how I see them, and being able to freely open up to them as if I knew them from ages ago. So like,
Yeah.
right, like I'll approach them like that I knew them from this birthday party like 7 years back, even though they're a complete stranger. I assume that kind of familiarity, and that puts them into the kind of frequency of trust and safety.
Totally. Like super friendliness, like
Yeah.
I'm trying to like put it into words, this feeling of, you know, when you just approach a homie, when you approach a homie and you're like, hey, what's up, bro? Hey, how you feeling, man? How you feeling, brother? Right? Like, just sort of approach a stranger in that way. They're like, their body's like sort of not even gonna have a choice but to answer you in a very calm way as well.
Totally.
Because however you feel, that person is gonna feel that way too.
Yeah, law of state transference, for sure.
Like I've approached girls when I'm nervous, and that made them nervous. It made them fucking feel nervous. Like, cause start to think about it. They're like, oh, why is this guy nervous? Why is he nervous? What is he trying to do? What is he hiding? He's nervous for a reason. He's trying to hide something. You're not nervous because you get nervous whenever you feel guilty, right?
That's a good point, man. You get nervous when you try to hide something. So when you expose yourself to social situations and you're freely yourself, then the nervousness might just also dilute, right? Because you're not putting on this mask or this persona anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, bro. Taking away that person who you're pretending to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 100, dude. I really like that. So, yeah, I just thought of this other idea of, I was talking about this in my verbal vinyasa course, which is coming out soon. But essentially, it's the concept of acknowledging others, right? People want to be heard, seen, felt, recognized, and even if we're just saying, yo, I totally get what you're going through right now. Or if you're like, yo, I feel that, like, I've been through a similar situation like that before. Like, people want that acknowledgement that they're being heard and validated. So if you can do that in a social context, it's going to do incredible things for your rapport.
Listen to them. Yeah, exactly. Listen to them. The only way to do that is by listening to them, right? And then because they're gonna think that you are a great conversationalist, even when they did most of the conversation.
Right. Exactly right.
All you did was go, oh, okay, yeah, all right, okay, or like you're just asking them questions, or let's just say echoing. Have you ever heard of the term echoing? Yeah. Just if you're unsure about something that somebody said, just echo it back to them.
Yeah.
Right? Don't assume that you know. If you don't know, just you're seeking clarity, right? You're trying to listen, you're trying to understand them, right? Go and repeat back what they just said to you. And to them, that's going to acknowledge that you heard them, but that's also going to acknowledge that they need to have more clarity, and then you'll have that more clarity.
Right. Yeah, echoing kind of reminds me of the concept of mirroring as well, and the fact how we we mirror each other's body language subconsciously to bring each other, like two people closer together. And I mean, human beings are quite like a narcissistic species in the sense of biology reasons. And then of course we have that learned helplessness, learned altruism, learned all sorts of things as a human culture, of course. But ultimately we like that feeling that someone else is like us, you know, that someone else is very similar to us. And echoing, I think, is like hearing your own words back to you. Like I do that when I'm coaching as well. And it helps just to reflect, for people to reflect. Also, I've noticed, like, if I'm mirroring someone's body language, like if someone has their arms crossed over, you don't want to imitate them very directly, but it's more like a subtle, like maybe you have your arms slightly closed in, just like theirs. And it's a very subtle kind of social maneuver. And this works because of mirror neurons. So, like, my brain will fire if I see a picture of a person jumping on a trampoline. The same neurons of the person actually jumping on the trampoline is firing. So that means that whatever we are seeing, and our brains are like a recorder, right? So our eyes are recording, and our ears are recording, and our smell is recording, and all our senses are like recording. And so yeah, just stop watching so much like horror and violence and shit. Like watch it, but like distance yourself from it. Because
all right, guys, I'm gonna have to take a quick pause. My dad's calling me.
All right, guys, we're gonna pause it. See you guys soon. All right, and we're back. What's going on?
And we decided that we're gonna talk a little bit about voice tonality, because you know, the reality is that most of what we're saying, 70% of what we're saying is not communicated through the words. The words do 10% of the talking, right? But the tonality, it does 70% of the talking for you. You will communicate your internal thoughts by the tone of your voice.
Explain to people what you mean by that. Yeah.
So it's like I made this video on my exclusive channel, Life Masters Coaching. I have a fucking, what is that called? A Patreon account. Patreon account. A patron. Yeah. And basically what I talked about was, let's just say somebody says, man, I don't give a like, they go on Twitter, right? People do this shit all the time. They go on Twitter, they're like, man, give a fuck what you think I care what anybody thinks about me? Right? Like, when reality is that, like, if you didn't care, you wouldn't have wrote it down that way. Right? If you didn't care, first of all, you wouldn't even have said that you didn't care.
Right, you just ignore it.
you just wouldn't care. But like saying that you don't care is a way of caring.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like, again, it's like what I was saying earlier about people wanting to be heard and seen. Right? So it's like, I want to be heard that I don't care, but it's like a cry for help kind of thing, mentality. You know?
Exactly. And if you were to hear this person in real life, somebody that actually wouldn't care, they would say, well, it really just depends on that person. And I know that whatever somebody thinks about me is really just their own perspective, and it's really just a reflection of who they are. And it really doesn't say much about me because I know who I am as a person. They're only looking at a few pages of my book, and I know my whole book. You know what I mean? Like somebody who's what's up?
That's so epic. That Freudian slip that you made, you created your own word. Like, you said, like, what did you say? You said
it was like perspective, but
perspective and reflection together. Yeah. So proflection.
Perfection?
Proflection. Bro, it's so good. It's such a good word. It's such a good word.
A perflection, my nigga. Damn.
God. Yeah, I think vocal tonalities is really key because first of all, you just want to be able to train that muscle, right? Like I was learning this from, so Jeffy from RSD, from Real Social Dynamics, has a 7-day free Facebook challenge. And in one of them, he talks about training your vocal mode and your vocal muscles. And he talks about how there's like staccato, which is like choppy, like, look here, I'm going to, and then there's like legato, which is like flowy, right? Moves everything across. And then there's like loud and quiet, intense, relaxed, high pitch, low pitch. And a lot of people talk super monotone and they're like really boring to listen to, right? In their voice, because it doesn't have that range. And so one of the
it's the range is the most important thing. Because even if someone could be talking passionately, but if they just do that all the time, that's still monotone.
Yeah. And so what Jeffy recommended was that you try something called vocal flexing, which is essentially you try to do as much of this as you can. So so the challenge is to introduce yourself as, as speaking. So I'll be like, hi, my name is Sumed, and I'm really happy to be here. By the way, it's sort of like just taking these different tonalities and meshing them together to try and exercise that vocal muscle, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, and you wouldn't actually talk like that in person. That's just the tool to train yourself.
It's just the exercise, yeah.
Because just imagine going up to someone comes up to you. Hi, my name is. What the fuck is going on with you? God damn, get the fuck out of here, you fucking freak. God damn, yeah.
By something or some shit, yeah.
Possession, 100% possession. Without a doubt. Yo, actually, something that came to my mind. Something that came to my mind about safety was thoughts, words, actions aligned, right? It's like trust. Let's just say trust, right? Let's just say someone, like, just the way that I like to make examples is I like to go like way out into the beyond, like super exaggerated, like super fucking crazy extreme, because that's where like it's easier to understand, right? So let's just say someone says, hey, I'm gonna kill someone, right? And then they go and they kill that person. Well, to me, I can trust that person to kill someone. I can trust that person with whatever they say. I believe what they're gonna say, right?
And people
believe what they're gonna
say things like that all the time, right? It's like, oh, this is hell. This is torture. No, it's not. You're not in hell right now. You're in reality, right? So it's like people say things that they don't mean, and that sort of comes across in the language. Is that what you're saying?
I'd say it's more so like integrity.
Integrity,
right?
Okay. Yeah.
Like if someone who's going to do what they say they're gonna do, even when nobody's looking.
What are you willing to do? What are you willing to do when nobody's watching? I love that. Yeah.
So that is how I would like that even comes across whenever you first meet somebody.
Yeah.
Because they're analyzing you as a person. Are you safe? Right? And if you're someone who does what you say you're going to do, that makes you a safe person in terms of, I know that this person's going to do this. Right? And then then people are more willing to open up to you. Right? Because trustworthy. Like, I can trust you. If you say you're going to do it, you're trustworthy to me.
Right. And the thing is, a lot of people whose thoughts, words, and actions aren't aligned are very prone to low self-esteem. And so the thing,
Yeah.
it like chisels away at your self-esteem. And sometimes that can be really tough on an individual. So if you are struggling with that, one of the things that I would do is just Kaizen approach, like do little things which you know you can do. Say you're going to do them and then accomplish.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Set little promises for yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Mm.
It's like I'm reminded of that really cheesy quote, like, each breath is a love note to your body. I don't know why that popped in, but yeah.
That sounds like some Rumi type quote.
Rumi type beat.
For sure, dude. Rumi's got some really nice quotes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's a Sufi,
But you know who's
right? So,
goddamn, bro? Them niggas, bro. Who knows where what's going? Dude, their level of energy is like in the enlightenment stage.
whoa.
Without a fact, like Sufism
Yeah.
itself is in like 680. 600 itself is enlightenment.
Whoa.
These dudes are operating above enlightenment, dude. Like the religion itself. But I can't say all the people who are Sufis are there, but they're high up there.
Yeah, because in order for you, there's in Sufism they have these guys called the dervish dancers, and what they do is they spin and they dance, and they can do that for hours on end. So they can spin for hours, and naturally that would make someone dizzy, right? Get vertigo or some shit. But they're able to do it for such long periods of time that it's like, whoa, man, they're definitely in an altered state of consciousness to be able to, do that kind of activity.
Damn. This is wild the fuck.
Yeah.
How would a Sufi build rapport?
I have no idea, bro. You'd have to ask one.
I met a Sufi before, actually.
Mhm.
And he wouldn't look me in the eyes. Right? He wouldn't look me and it wasn't because of fear. I think in a way it sort of made me feel like I'm not worthy of being seen, of being looked into the eyes by this person. Right?
Really? That's so interesting.
and in a way, so that is also one different way, like, to communicate your power to somebody, right? So sometimes you will want to do eye contact, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes by giving somebody less eye contact, giving them less attention, right? That's gonna make them want to seek your attention more.
Right. It's kind of like the distracted rock star, kind of like you're just more drawn to that magnetism because that person is in a different kind of, I guess, status or frame of reference, and so you're seeking that by them giving you less of it. It's like it's not like, well, I was thinking of like cat string theory, but it's not exactly like that. But it's kind of like when you are maintaining eye contact with someone, you're building rapport for sure. But then once you're taking it away not as a way to distance yourself, but as a way to use it as a tool, or just you are naturally in your own world, you're not using it to push people away from you, right? You're doing it because that's naturally you. You are in your own frame. You're in your own consciousness. And so I think that, yeah, just the authenticity aspect of that really draws people towards a person. So I would say generally, like, people operate on this paradigm of like, people are superior than me, people are inferior than me, and people are equal to me, right? And so instead of that like paradigm, it's like when you think people are superior to you, you feel like you have an inferiority complex, right? You get insecure. But if you feel that people are inferior to you, then you have a superiority complex and you're arrogant or whatever, like, you know?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
the middle ground is like, yeah, I'm equal to these people because I'm also a human being, but also I'm not competing with anybody else. I'm competing with me yesterday. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's coming internally. It's not looking for the external factors to decide on their confidence levels.
Mm-hmm. Sort of coming back to the idea of rapport.
Yeah.
Because my level of energy is very different from people here who are working the job where I'm at in construction.
Yeah.
The way they communicate is different, right? So if you want to build rapport with someone to where they can trust you, you need to communicate the way that they communicate, right? So,
Yeah.
If someone talks with more slang, I'll talk to them with more slang, right? If someone like I call them on the phone, right? And they're like, hey, what is that? Right? They're like talking really fast, right?
Yeah.
I might like talk really fast, really quick with them too, right?
Yeah, it goes back to the whole like mirroring.
And then eventually I'll loosen it up. And then eventually I'll loosen it up and I'll guide them into an easier, smoother way.
That's what in NLP you say, like pacing and leading. So you pace them first and then you lead them into your speed, let's say.
Yeah. Yeah, into my speed or into my language.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And that's just basically how I've done it all the time. Or like if someone's like mad, right? Like let's just say somebody's mad, not at you, but they're mad. And you can't go in there being like, hey, it's all right, just forget about it. Just like no. Well, that like just imagine you're pissed. Someone's telling you stop being pissed. Oh shit! Thanks a fucking lot.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. I didn't know. You really just made me see it all. You know?
Actually, what those people want is for people to get mad with them.
Yeah. You gotta get mad with them.
Yeah.
And you gotta get mad with them.
Yeah.
And then you can lead them into more peace and more calmness.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm reminded of this guy who was like, you know, he had I'm having a really rough day, right? He sighed, and then I sighed as well. I was like, oh yeah, tell me about it. And then I slowly like started to change his vibe, because in a client, when I hear someone speak in a very specific way, I want to first and foremost just pace their reality and their way of speaking and their mannerisms and things like that. And you sort of become like a shapeshifter, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, totally. You have to become what that person is looking for, right? So like the same applies to eye contact. Like how much is good? Some people say hold eye contact the whole time. So to some people, that's just gonna make you feel like, what the fuck is going on with this guy? Like,
doesn't he blink? Like, what's going on?
No, it's gonna freak you out. So give as much eye contact as much as the other person is giving
you. That's good.
So that's what I mean by mirroring, right? Mirroring even to the degree of the eye contact, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what's gonna make the person be like, oh, they're just like me. We like people that are similar to us, that are like us, right? That's what we're aiming for.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what people essentially want, is a bunch of their own clones running around.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. I think people think to themselves, I'm right, the whole world is wrong.
Yeah,
if everyone just did it my way, then the whole world would be great.
Yeah, that's pretty much everybody. That's pretty much everybody. Yeah. the world revolves around me and everything it's like biocentrism, right? It's like the concept, like we all see ourselves as this grand like player in this game, right? It's like, because we are our consciousness, and so everybody is experiencing this oneness, but through their own eyes, from a fresh perspective. So it's like, yeah, so like take two people, right? Like if you take a person who's like from Guatemala and a person who's like from Egypt, and you put them in one room, right? It's going to be difficult for them to communicate if they don't have the same language. However, there's still a communication happening,
Yeah.
right? And it's it's an unspoken one. Without them even saying anything, if they're still like, let's say they're in the same room, there's still a humanness and an unspoken kind of vibe happening between them. And so it's like, we have to take into account like,
yeah, because anyone can see anyone can see when someone is sad, anyone can see when someone is happy, anyone can see when someone is angry. I still understand what you're feeling. I may not understand your thoughts, but I can understand your feelings.
Right. And also like the concept of like, if you become very observant to people's reactions and emotions, you start to notice the microexpressions too. Like if they quickly furrow their brows, you know they're kind of pissed. Or if they slowly like have a little droopy sad face, like in a brief millisecond, you can tell that they're sad about that one subject, you know. Or
or they make like a half blink, like a 50% blink.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like if you're on YouTube right now, it goes like this.
Yeah. The squint. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
But the eyes never close. They just like close a little bit and they open up really quick.
What do you think
that's
that
like
indicates?
Someone low-key getting mad? I think that's low-key someone like wanting to say something, but they don't say it, and they're kind of pissed about it. They're like that. I think it's somebody getting pissed, right? Because whenever we close our eyes, we squint them, or we like we make
yeah, I'm reminded of like the Fry meme of like, you know, from Futurama, how like Fry's like squinting his eyes.
Yeah. We squint in order to focus.
Yeah, to laser in on something.
Yeah. So I guess it could just mean there is a lasering in on their thoughts, but it sort of seems like if they open it up back really quick, because the mini squint, the 50% squint is the one I'm talking about.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe that's a bit different. It's a bit different.
Maybe they're just like confused. It could be a sign of like, just because the thing is their body is just reacting, you know, unconsciously. And so they're just like, maybe it's like more of a It could be anything actually. We could definitely look it up, like what it means. But it's so super interesting how like different gestures and different little micro expressions symbolize different things for different people.
Totally. Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess body language is universal.
Yeah. And also sounds, like noises that aren't sounds. Does that make sense? Like what I mean by like grunts, claps, growls,
noises that aren't sounds, bro.
Yeah, I was just said it out loud and I was like, that's the same thing. Like, what the fuck?
They're gonna shut down the Better Man podcast now, all because of you, bro.
God damn.
But
words that
grunts and shit like that.
Like onomatopoeia is what I'm talking about. Like sounds that are not words. Like, man.
That's the word. Is onomatopoeia is the word for sounds, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. So like splash or like burp or
Or
like
like bam,
yeah,
or like ouch.
or like ouchie.
Yeah. It's
It's so
crazy
weird how
because it's
different
like,
cultures say different things for ouch.
exactly,
Ay.
exactly. Like in Mexico, it'd be like ay, and
Yeah.
then in like China, it would be like oi.
Yeah. Here in India, it's like oof. That's the common one. Oof.
Damn, that's
Yeah, it's
wild.
weird, right?
Mm.
Yeah, really strange. Language is a weird one. But yeah, coming back to the
Mm.
topic of rapport,
Mm.
basically what you gotta do for rapport, right? You just gotta rap on the port, and that's it.
It's a good idea. It's a good
Bro, there are
idea.
people fighting outside, and I can hear it through my like
Send
my.
them love. Send them love. Send them love.
Wow, they're fighting
Is this it?
like
I think
dogs,
this is
bro.
it. You know, I think this is it. I think we can. I think I'm ready to close.
You're ready to close out? All right, man.
Yeah.
All right,
I think I
guys.
gave a lot of good content.
I think this was a good episode. I think people are gonna get a lot of value from it. To be honest with you.
Definitely, for sure. If they're into persuasion.
Persuasion, yeah. This is great stuff for sales as well, like building that instant
Mm-hmm.
rapport, like sales.
Oh yeah, for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
so like meeting people where they're at is like the first level, right? Of that, and then pacing and leading is the next level of that. And yeah, we mentioned a lot of great things in this episode. If you guys are interested, in this particular episode, or go back and listen to episode 1 where we talk about high status body language, and then there's also a bunch of other episodes.
That's a really good episode. Yeah, high status body language is a really good episode on body language and talking to people. There's a few other ones on talking to people. I'm not too sure though.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that you can watch based primarily more on socializing with women. There's a couple in terms of that. We have an episode 3 on women or something, and also a couple of guests, like a couple of people in the seduction community who we've interviewed, and that's been also. So you guys can find that out. Go back to some of the episodes, check them out. Hopefully they answer your questions. If not, you can always send us a message at Flowzone Academy or at our Odd Resilience. And yeah, we love you guys, man. You guys are amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and if you guys want to learn more on my book, guys, my book, Command and Respect, Learn to Set Boundaries Using Consciousness, Psychology, and the Law of Attraction. Once you know how to really use the law of attraction, it's gonna take a little bit of time, right? But just like going to the gym, it's gonna take a little bit of time to see a big result, right? When you use these tools, your life gets exponentially easier. You get richer, you get sexier, more confident, with ease. It's just easier. And I just want to put that out there. It's not a hard sell.
Awesome, man. All right, yeah, go check out his book. And for you guys, I have a course coming on its way. Stay tuned for that. It's called Verbal Vinyasa. Having said that, peace and love.
Be the best, forget the rest. Odd Resilience, Ice Nation.
And we out.
If you would like to contact Sumed for peak performance coaching, go to @Flowzone Academy on Instagram. That's FLOZONE Academy. If you would like to connect to your higher self, contact Ivan at odd.resilience. That's ODD.resilience. Also, make sure you follow the Better Man podcast on Instagram. See you next time.